everyone, Jamie Madison here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's card is going to be a slimline card, and we're going to be using Arches cold press watercolor paper, and I'm going to pull out the Simon Says Stamp Beautiful Flowers stamp set. I'm going to be doing some watercoloring today, so in order to make sure that my lines are nice and dark, I'm going to be doing some heat embossing. So I took out my Beautiful Flowers stamp set, and I just cut out a piece of the Arches cold press watercolor paper. Now, it doesn't really matter the size right now because we will be cutting this down into a slimline card. I went ahead and stamped this down using my VersaFine Onyx black ink. I stamped this twice. I also went through and used an anti-static powder bag. If you don't have this, baby powder or cornstarch would work great. This is so the embossing powder doesn't go to places that you don't want it to. After I have this stamped down, I'm going to go in with my black embossing powder. You can use any color if you want. I decided to opt for the black because I was going for more of a warm fall theme for this card. But I could see you doing clear, white, or even copper would look pretty. Imagination is all yours. I'm going to heat set my embossing powder so it's nice and smooth and melted. When you see a shine on it, then you know it's done. If you see anything that looks matte, make sure you hit that with your heat gun so it melts that powder. I then went ahead and taped down my panel to a hard blackboard. You could even use a heavyweight cardstock, anything just to keep your panel from popping up while you add your watercolor. For my watercolors, I'm going in with my Mission Gold. And I'm just going to speed up this video so you don't have to see how long it takes me to do simple watercoloring. For my first flower, I went in with a really light wash of yellow and then started incorporating a little bit of orange towards the base of the flower. For my second flower, which is the hardest one for me, is brown. I don't want to go too heavy with the brown because then it will look muddy. And if you ever do add a little bit too much watercolor, don't be afraid just to take your paper towel, dab it up, and try again. I had to do that with this flower because it got a little too dark towards the center. It's also a great way to add a little bit of highlight as well. It kind of gives it a little bit of a texture on the flower. Now my brown was looking a little bit too light for me, so I went ahead and added a little bit of red. Maybe this flower used to be red, and as it got older and started to die, it turned a little brown. That's the fun thing with watercolors, is it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't even have to make sense. You just do whatever it feels what is right for you. For my third flower, I went in with a rusty red. I went in with the light wash first and then added more towards the base. I really like that red, so I went ahead and added that to my brown flower as well. And then I added a little bit to the yellow flower. It kind of gave it an orange look, which I really enjoyed. It really complemented the rest of the flowers. I went back in with my yellow and added that toward the center of the flowers, and then just did a little bit of blending on the rest of the flowers. For my leaves, all I did was took a little bit of green, added it towards the stem, and then went back in with a clean paintbrush and then just blended that out. For the leaves, you could also go back in with a tissue and just dab a little bit of it to give it a little bit more of a highlight. I kind of like the way that it looks, so I just left it alone. I added a little bit of the green to the rosebuds as well because to me, when they're fresh like that, you would think that they'd have a little bit of green left in them. Added a little bit of a darker of a red and then picked up as I went through. I took a scrap piece of paper, laid it over my flowers, and did a little bit of ink splotting in the colors that I used, which would be the red, yellow, orange, and green. For the final touch, I went ahead and removed it and then just added a couple splatters on top of the flowers. We're going to be cutting away most of this so you won't see it anyways. I went ahead and added a little bit of the brown speckles as well. I'm going to go ahead and cut this into a slimline card. This is the hardest part for me. After you finally get your watercoloring done, you don't want to cut too much away and then ruin your panel. So I kind of went a little bit at a time until I got it to where I liked it. I went ahead and took some black licorice paper from Cardstock Warehouse. for my background. I'm going to be stamping on a piece of white foundation paper from Cardstock Warehouse, and I'm stamping down from me to you. I went ahead and fussy cutted that sentiment out, and I'm going to go ahead and apply my black background to my card base. I'm using some double-sided tape because it's easier for me to add this to the foundation paper without it going all crooked. This is one of the best tricks that I have learned doing cards, is to add your paper down and then just pull up a little bit of the sides so you can kind of place it where you want it and then remove the tabs. I've done this in a couple of my videos now, so I'm sure you're very aware of how I do this. For the black background, I went ahead and added it so all borders were the same. But for the watercolor paper, I'm going to go ahead and add it towards the bottom so it just gives a black border at the top and on the side. I really like the way this looked. And it is definitely outside my comfort zone. I normally like everything to be centered and squared. But this by far is one of my favorite cards I have made. I went ahead and popped up my sentiment with some double foam tape. And then I'm going to go in with some crystals. These are from Pretty Pink Posh, and they're called ESPRESSO. I went ahead and used my Gina K Designs glue and my jewel picker. After I have my jewels put down, this card is complete. I just absolutely love the way this turned out. Just to me, it's so elegant and almost looks like a piece that you could put on a table and just display. Now that my card is complete, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!